We're talking about movies. 3 films have dragged me out to the theater this year. The first was Dune 2, which was good. The second was Furiosa, which was less good, but still worth the price of admission. And the third was my most anticipated film of the year, the only Marvel film of this year, Deadpool and Wolverine. So I saw the film opening weekend, and I wanted to put a little bit of time in between me seeing it and the review. Why? 1, I work a full-time job, and these videos take a minute to put together. 2, to give some time for people to see the film. I could talk spoilers freely without worrying about ruining it for people. And 3, to see how the film stayed with me since seeing it. And I gotta tell you guys, this film has stuck with me. I can tell you everything that happened in it, when it happened. Like sometimes you go see a movie and like the next day you're like, what happened? I don't remember how they got from that point to that point. Why did that happen? But this film sticks with you. Why? Well, some of the critics of the film are saying that it's because there's no story to follow. I disagree. Is the story a little less than the previous Deadpool films? Yes. But that is not a negative to this film, because this film is one of the most fun experiences you will have in the theater. And heaven forbid people have fun at the movies. Ryan Reynolds and his team had one thing on their minds when making this movie: the fans. All the jokes and action combined with all the cameos that are aimed at like the die-hard Marvel fans have been watching this stuff since like the 1990s. Makes this just like a super enjoyable experience. When Chris Evans shows up with the Avengers theme playing behind him, only to yell "Flame on" and end up being Johnny Storm from the Fantastic Four movies, is, no pun intended, fantastic. He wasn't in it for a super long time, but the running gag that they kept doing with him was hilarious. All the other cameos they had in there were great. Jennifer Gardner, Wesley Snipes as Blade, that came out of nowhere. Channing Tatum as Gambit he might have been the funniest part of the film. I don't know where they came up with him doing that just horrible Louisiana accent, but just all the cameos, so funny. And you have to bring up Hugh Jackman. You got to give him his flowers. Him coming back to this role that only he could play was a stroke of genius for the creative team. And it's making like $1 bajillion. So obviously it worked. And it's done it in 2 weeks. I could go on and on about Jackman as Wolverine. I'll leave it at that. I've watched him play Wolverine since I was a kid. And obviously there's going to come a day where there's going to be a new Wolverine and someone's going to replace him. I hope I don't live to see that day. I hope that he plays Wolverine for the rest of my life. He'll be in Avengers Secret Wars and the Doomsday one they announced. He should be one of the lead characters in them both. You just can't say enough about him. Just thank you for the 24 plus years that he's played this character. As far as negatives to the film, like I said earlier, the story is not as strong as the other 2, but it makes up for it with fun. You can't fight the fact that it being in the MCU with all those extra weapons and tools that they have with it being in the MCU to play with. It makes up for it. I will say I thought the part at the end with them fighting all the Deadpools was probably the weakest part. That didn't really have anything to do with the rest of the film. They weren't in it prior to that. They had mentioned them, but then they just kind of all popped up. It served to get Hugh Jackman in the cowl, which was cool, but as far as the overall story, it was kind of random. It doesn't ruin the film for me, but that point was kind of a point what does this have to do with them stopping the guy at the TVA or whatever Emma Corrin's character was, the lady. But that was kind of random, and I thought that didn't really, they kind of just threw that in there to be look, it's all these Deadpools. I did have 2 questions from the film that maybe you guys could answer in the comments. 1, how was he in the main 616 timeline at the beginning when he was talking to Happy Hogan? I think the answer is he had the cable time thing and that he can hop universes with it, but I was a little bit how did he get there? The second is the X-23 the same as the X-23 from Logan? I think the answer is also, yeah, it is. But why? Why would she get put on the Void other than just to have her in the movie? Why would the TVA put her there? That wasn't really explained. It was kind of left where it could be a variant, it could be the real one. She had to put on the glasses, so I'm assuming it's the real one. But I just don't know why she would be there. Since the end of Logan, the universe was disintegrating anyway. I don't know why they felt the need to put her there, but whatever. Which brings me to the title of this video. Does this movie save the MCU? They took so many shots at Disney and the current MCU in this film. I loved the part where Nicepool was saying that everything has been consistent since Endgame. I will say that if they keep doing this, it can save the MCU, but they're going to have to be willing to move away from the stuff that they were doing to do stuff like this. Clearly, fans like this. They like these characters and they like this like type of movie. A lot of the upcoming movies were made in the mindset of when they were making like everything. So like I think Captain America 4 looks good, but they did have to reshoot the entire movie after realizing like something must have been wrong with it. So like originally it was probably made in that mindset when they made all these bad films. Same with Thunderbolts. I think Fantastic Four, they're just starting, so like that could be like its own new slate. But if they can get through these next few films, Spider-Man 4, into the Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars, where they just announced Robert Downey Jr. as Doom, I think that can work, and they could set themselves on a strong path using this as a jumping off platform. The Agatha All Along, or whatever it's called, show looks terrible. Ironheart's a bad idea. The only show that they should do is the Daredevil show. If they can kind of keep on this mentality, then yes, this is the path they need to go on, leading to Doctor Doom, who's like one of the greatest comic book villains ever. They need to keep doing stuff like this. So overall, money talks. Deadpool and Wolverine is going to make all the money in the world. So you know what that tells Marvel? That we want more stuff like this. They should be big players in the upcoming Avengers films. I don't see why they wouldn't be. The film, I think, gets fans definitely back into the theater. It's making like all the money in the world, and I think it's gotten a lot of people back on board. It provided laughs and an enjoyable time, which is all you can ask for going to the movie. I can easily recommend that you pay money to go see this in theaters. So those were my thoughts on Deadpool and Wolverine, the only Marvel film this year. What did you guys think? Drop a comment below. Let me know what you thought of the movie. Thanks for checking out my humble little video. If you could just give me a like and a subscribe to the channel, it would be much appreciated, and stick around for more reviews like this. Thanks.